Welcome to Small Business, Big Network, the podcast for small business owners who want big results from their networking. I'm Liz Drury, a freelance voiceover artist who knows that if you're not working, then networking could help. Victoria Ajoku is possibly the most enthusiastic person I've ever had on the podcast. She is a fan maker and she likes networking to spread the word about this endangered craft and to find other craft people to collaborate with. Thank you very much for being my podcast guest today, Victoria.
Hello, thank you, Liz.
Now, you've got a very unique business, which we'll talk about in a minute. But first of all, I know that you haven't always done what you're doing now. So what's your background? What were you trained in originally?
I was actually trained in musical theatre. Yes, those three disciplines of acting, dancing and singing.
And how long ago was that?
Oh gosh, we're looking at sort of more than a decade ago, 2008.
And did you actually, after doing your training, did you work in that field?
I did a few amateur performances here and there for like the local theatres. I did some pantomimes and some devised pieces. And then I sort of thought, I think it's time I studied this as a proper degree. So I went back to university and did a BA Honours in Drama, Theatre and Performance Studies.
And what did you do when you left there, when you finished your training?
Well, I had some time off and did some work and then went back into uni again to do a master's in performance and creative research, both at Roehampton University in London.
And what did that lead on to?
Well, it really gave me the passion to learn more about fans because fans are props on stage mostly and have many different performative elements. And so my master's really opened me up to the performative, creative side that fans bring. And I really felt that actually I need to do something with this craft. I don't know what. So coming out of uni, I wasn't sure exactly what, but I knew that I loved the aspect of props on stage, set design, costume design, the makeup, and all the other theatrics that goes on in performance.
Yeah. So your business now is called Fan the Glory with Drury, and you are a fan maker. So you were interested in fans because of the way they were used on stage, but what actually brought you to making fans?
Yes, well actually the Heritage Craft Association of Great Britain released a list of endangered crafts in the UK. And I tell you, Liz, this list was just fascinating to read because there's the endangered section and then there's the critically endangered section. So quite a long list. And so, fans was on the critically endangered list. And I just thought, oh my goodness, I think I'm called to do something here, to have a positive intervention and to revive the craft in terms of teaching the craft, selling fans in general, and really using fan making as a creative therapeutic experiences. So I go into the communities, making sure the craft reaches people of all levels, abilities, backgrounds, walks of life. So I go into schools, care homes, community centres, residential homes, to really make sure that people on a broader spectrum get to at least, try their hands on this endangered heritage craft.
Yeah. Now, I have to say, I've never come across a fan maker before, and I imagine none of the listeners probably have either. So how many fan makers are there in the UK?
Oh, there's less than a handful, unfortunately. So I would say, about 4 to 5 people left with the craft. And I think many crafts, men and women who have these skills, some of them have gone abroad to teach and to live there. So it's really hard, I think, for the skill to be passed down. So I'm really focusing now on getting apprentices, building a team of other makers, volunteers to build up this revolution.
So how do you make a fan? I mean, I guess probably everybody has concertinaed a piece of paper at primary school and made it into a little fan. But what kind of materials are you using?
Well, at the moment, I'm really focusing on being vegan. because it's just huge throughout the world at the moment. Making sure my business is as sustainable as possible. So at the moment, it's just different types of papers, Japanese papers, rice papers, parchment papers. I love mixed media papers as well, because they're really sturdy and have some beautiful prints on them. So yeah, it's mostly paper for now, and wood, different types of woods, and the glues are all vegan. So I think it's really been a real good marketing strategy, actually, in getting the business out there.
And so the fans that you make, who uses them? Are they being used in theatre, which is obviously where you started?
Yes, well, at the moment, they're just being used by everyday people. So once, for example, if it's in a workshop that I do, I don't keep the fans. It's part of my ethos. If you come to a workshop, you get to keep the finished product. It's your creation that you've made. So at the moment, they're being made by ordinary people and giving back to ordinary people so that everybody can own a fan. Because I think throughout history, we just associate fans only with the wealthy, aristocracy, monarchs. Because traditionally they've been seen as these huge status and powerful symbols of wealth and power. So for me, I'm trying to demystify and break that down, and to give an opportunity for sort of everyday normal people like you and I, we're special people, normal people are special people, to make and to keep the fan. But I have a lovely ethos also that we try to make 2 fans, so we can keep one for ourselves, but to give one away to someone else.
Nice. And how long does it take to make a fan?
I would say about an hour per fan.
Right. Not that long then.
No. If I'm having a really, really, really good day, I can get about 2 in an hour. But when I was first starting out, it took me several hours to even make one. But now it's more of a therapeutic sort of process for me. I can have a tea on the side, watch a bit of television whilst I'm making it. It's really fun.
And where do you run your workshops?
So I do them online. So you can book a workshop online where the materials will be sent to you, and it can be done as a one-to-one or in a group. I also do in-person workshops across different community centres across the country. I'm mostly based in London, England, but I travel now all across the country because it's critically endangered in the UK. I've got to get out there. But also you can hire me into your community centre. So if you're, for example, maybe a society group, you can hire me. I can come into your community centre. I do lots of workshops for, businesses now. So I can come in, a real team bonding experience. So I do, basically it's called corporate fan making workshop experiences. So that's nice as well. So yeah, it's a bit of both in-person and online workshops as well.
Yeah, I like the idea of the online workshops. Did that come about due to COVID?
Absolutely. I think the good thing that came out of that was fan making was able to be sort of like at the point of need for people to learn a craft, to forget about, all the troubles and all their worries, to just relax, meet new people, learn a bit about the endangered craft. So it was really nice actually to just be able to be open despite the fact that we couldn't meet in person. So it was nice. I got great feedback, how the workshop was a real positive experience for people, and they will never forget it. And I really treasure those days, those weeks, because it was good. It was positive in the end.
Yeah. Now, I know as well as the fan making, you also have an interest in fan dancing. Tell me something about that.
Oh, well, I've always loved to travel across Europe, particularly after I'd finished my BA honours. I just saved up money and I thought, I've got to travel. So I've travelled to Portugal, Malta, of course, Spain, France, Italy. And I just really loved collecting fans, first of all, as souvenirs.
Yeah.
And then I think it was when I travelled the southern area of Spain, Malaga, Seville, I saw flamenco dancing.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. Just the gusto, the passion, the theme, all the moves so intricately done, the pizzazz, everything was just so beautiful and theatrical to watch. And of course I saw a fan. And I saw how these ladies would open and close their fans, spin, twirl, and communicate this sort of passion and storyline through their fans. And I thought, this is something I've got to try, because I love dancing. But I never tried flamenco dancing throughout school days. And I just loved it. I took some flamenco classes, then some classes with the fan online. And I loved it. And I thought, this is powerful. I enjoy it. It looks great. It's communicating something. And I just started to collect more Spanish dance fans, and I started to do performances. People would book tickets and want to see me. And I thought, this is just another layer to what fans can do. And so I had to incorporate it through Fan the Glory with Tori, the dancing aspects.
Well, you're so enthusiastic about it. I feel like I need to try it too now.
It is great fun. It's great fun.
And you mentioned there you're communicating with the fan, and I believe that used to happen in this country too, didn't it? There were different meanings to the way the lady was holding a fan or opening it.
Yes. It's called the language of the fan. And it's a really interesting one. So sort of about after the Regency period, so around about the Victorian period. Funnily enough, even then, fan making was kind of becoming sort of endangered in a way, in terms of people's interest wasn't as strong at the beginning of the Victorian period. And so one way to sort of revive its concept then was to have this language of the fan, and it worked. And so there's this French fan making company called Drury, and they basically created this language of the fan. I like to follow their version, though there's several online now. You type in language of the fan, you will see so many variations.
Yeah.
But I go by Drury's version, and basically what this company did was print out the language of the fan on a scroll, and in every purchase made, you would receive the language on the fan in a really beautiful way, sort of tied up in a scroll, and you could read it and play around with the language with your new fan. And it was great for advertising.
Yes.
And it just, I think it did the fan industry justice. I think it was great. I loved the idea. But I must say, Liz, there is no real academic evidence that really supports that this language truly existed. I believe there's some novels, fiction novels, references to the fan. But it was just a way of romanticising the idea that women could flirt and have an unspoken way of communicating, particularly to be found by a suitor. It was major in those days.
I love it. And I was just thinking about the fact that you're trying to make your fans vegan and I guess sort of environmentally friendly as well. And and another way that it's environmentally friendly is that if you've got a fan, you don't need air conditioning, do you?
Exactly. That's it. And it's portable. You can carry it around with you everywhere, and what I love to do is bespoke fans. So for businesses and even just for everyday people, I love to just tailor it. So if it's your birthday, we can do it in a birthday theme, or anything you're celebrating, to graduations, anniversaries, weddings, baptisms, you name it, I've done it. Even for Valentine's Day. So you can really personalise it and, carry it around with you.
And company logos, I imagine.
Yes, company logos is so important, very important, particularly when the companies are celebrating something and they want, something beautiful to decorate and garnish their tables or as a giveaway as part of their networking event. And so a fan is always up there.
Love it. So let's chat about networking now then. So how do you use networking in your business?
Oh, networking is so important. I would say, first of all, just being on social media, because it really enables you to just stay current and relevant and have another point of contact with clients and with people. So making sure, at least being on Instagram. I'm now on YouTube, which has been really fun, uploading, videos and things like that. But I'll say it's super important. Always carrying your business card.
Yes.
That's the least thing. I mean, you'll be surprised the amount of business owners, entrepreneurs that forget to have one in their bag or, in their pocket.
Yeah. Very, very good tip, actually. I have been caught out.
Yes.
You never know when you might need a business card.
That's right.
In terms of sort of networking events, what kind of things do you like to go to?
Well, I think what's really working for me at the moment is going to the networking events that are for craftspeople, other artisans, other people in a similar field. So I'm really super conscious and mindful of the type of networking events I'm going to. So if it's just like a broad general networking events for any business, they're good, but sometimes it's hard to actually build a connection with the other businesses because they're so far, in some ways, far removed from what you're doing. So I try to go to ones done by the Heritage Craft Association. I try to go to ones that are quite local to me. So within London mostly. So art-based, performance-based networking events, you'll see me there.
And what do you find that you get out of the networking?
I find that it's just a reminder that I'm not on my own. Because I am a team. I'm a very small team, so I run most of the manner of operations for the business. So it's a reminder that there are other people out there with a similar ethos, similar motto and aim and objective as me. And it's been really good for me because I've collaborated. I don't think there's been one networking event I've been to that I haven't come out from and there's been no collaboration. Every event I've been able to collaborate several months after, within that year, with the people that I've met, because our ideas are just so in sync with each other, and it's great to help other businesses, promote them, and vice versa. So there is power in numbers, and as I say, teamwork makes the dream work. So it's great.
And I guess that there are quite a lot of sort of art and craft based people who don't network. My sister makes fused glass jewellery, and I know she's not a networker. So why would you recommend networking to somebody like my sister?
I would say networking is important because it brings you out of your comfort zone. And there's always something that you can be learning. So for example, with me, I'm learning more about how to use media a lot more to promote my brand. So it is really helpful to collaborate and get business cards of photographers. Those who are really good in skills that maybe I'm not so good at. So I think it's really good to create a healthy balance for your business, because there's going to be an area that you can't dedicate 100% attention to. So if you can grow your numbers, grow your network, grow the people that you know around you, then you can call upon Jim to help with this. You can pay Mike to help with that, because you know that they're out there. You know that they exist. But if you don't know they're out there, then sometimes you're sort of limiting and narrowing what you can do and what your finished product might look like.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really intrigued by the list of the endangered crafts. What else was on it?
Oh my gosh, there is clog making, basket weaving, silversmithing, whip making. It's mind-blowing what is out there. I'll encourage everyone to look at that list. It gets updated. So I believe it's been updated this month of May 2023. So there'll be new crafts that have been added to the list, and some have been moved from endangered to critically endangered. And I believe now, Liz, there's even a section that's extinct.
Oh.
Where it's completely gone. So do check out that list, please. Do check it out.
Yeah, sounds fascinating. So what future plans do you have for Fan the Glory with Tori?
I really plan to own a premises.
Yeah.
And to really dig my roots deeper. I think it's time now to have a space, a workshop studio, where people can find me on Google search, see the address, book a workshop in person, meet like-minded people, learn the craft, have a cream tea, take away their finished product, and for it to be an area of just socialising, a real hub for community, a place where people can hear me do a talk, see me do some dancing, a demonstration, a place where even schools can come and have a visit of the collection that I'm building. So I think, and to have an area where there's a shop where people can purchase the other handmade crafts that I do. So a premises now, I think, will be a good thing. I've enjoyed being mobile. I still do, travel around the country, and I will maintain that aspect. But I think now it's, I guess, having that balance. Yes.
Well, that sounds amazing. So in the meantime, until you get your premises where people can come and see you, what's the best place for them to find you?
I would say on my website, which is fantheglorywithtori.com. fantheglorywithtori.com. You can email me, which is info@fantheglorywithtori.com. info@fantheglorywithtori.com.
Perfect. Lovely. Well, thank you so much for being my guest. I think you've been the most enthusiastic person I've ever had on the podcast. And yes, you've certainly inspired me to go and check out that list and see what other crafts are in danger.
Yes, please do. And have fun with it. And I would say try as many crafts as you can. I think one of the ways that the list can be really interesting for us to experience is if we try some of the crafts on that list. And who knows what may happen once we try.
Who knows? Well, thank you very much for being my guest today, Tori.
Thanks, Liz.
Thanks for listening to Small Business, Big Network. If you found this podcast useful, please do rate, review and subscribe. And don't forget to share it with the rest of your network too.